Time now for the Educated Retirement Show with your host, Jay Kaplan. Jay discusses reverse mortgages and can answer your questions at 951-922-3532. Call lines are open at 951-922-3532. And now here's Jay.
Well, hello, Doyle. Doyle is watching. You know, everybody knows Doyle. He's even older than I am, therefore everybody knows him. But welcome to the Educated Retirement Radio here on KMET 1490 AM on Friday the 13th, where we contemplate retirement and how to best prepare for that retirement and how to best stay successfully retired. So I thought we would get into a little of the history, but not much, of Friday the 13th. I hope this is your favorite day, right, Sean?
Yeah, it doesn't bother me.
No, don't bother me. I mean, one thing about Friday the 13th is that it's also Friday. So, you know, that means, except for people like myself, who work all around the clock, seems like, but I do get rest. Anyway, in 1882, somebody by the name of Captain Fowler founded the 13 Club of New York. It was a group of skeptics that defied superstition by hosting dinner parties on Friday the 13th. There were 13 members who dined on 13 courses in the light of 13 candles. Let me show you real quick. Here's one, which I think I'm aiming correctly, but since there's a 10-second delay, I won't know for another 10 seconds, but there's one. Okay, they always tipped over the salt containers without throwing salt over their shoulders. It had members such as Grover Cleveland and Theodore Roosevelt, and here are the two of them and kind of a advertisement thing for it. I think we can see that. Okay, and eventually it grew to over 400 members. And would you have joined such a thing? I don't know. The real beginnings of the superstition for Friday the 13th, I always thought was, you know, the King of France, the Friday the 13th that he rounded up the Knights Templar. But there's also, I guess, an older one, which goes back to the Last Supper of Jesus with 12 disciples plus himself. Which equaled 13. Now, what I find interesting is Nikola Tesla. He was a very superstitious guy, and he loved 3s and 13. And, you know, he had to walk around his hotel where he spent the last 20, 30 years of his life in New York City. He had to walk around the building 3 times before he would enter into the door. So, in any case, please visit www.drheckham.com, or if you like, it would be theeducatedretirementradio.com, because you're on the Educated Retirement Radio right now. And or just email me best loan today at gmail.com. And remember, check in on the Facebook page. It's got everything you want. Not the Facebook. Then you can check in there too, and I actually been getting some appointments through there. But the YouTube station, okay? YouTube station has all the shows on it. Sometimes it takes me a little while to get them up, but usually less than a week. So remember, knowledge is power, and how do you get that power? By calling 866-955-2233, 866-955-2233. And my day job, it's a J job, yes, my day job is at the Loan Source as a loan officer, NMLS number 384-565, Department of Real Estate 792-630. I don't sell real estate, but there it is. Now, today is National Pickle Day. And, I don't know, they can't see those white gloves. But I'm going to show you some pickles. And actually, are you there? Yeah. Mm. Well, I'll give you back the tray back so I can go to the 13 Club. And here's this. So, it's actually tomorrow, but you know, pickles are so important I had to mention it. So, what is a pickle's philosophy of life? Answer: never a dull moment. What is green, sour, and swims? A tropical fish. Boy, you have been brought up now. So much more knowledge, we believe, in challenging the status quo. I don't know if pickles do, but we do here on this station. Families and people need to be more active, reactive. Remember, you're listening to the Educated Retirement Radio here on KMET, the Mighty Met, 866-955-2233. And whose birthday might it be today? Now, here's a name you may not recognize offhand, but if you saw his picture, you would know him. Jack Elam joined us on this earth 1920, and he left us on 2003. He's an American film and television actor whose claim to fame was his misaligned eye that was by a buckout accident. I'm going to tell you what his picture. He was a bookkeeper for Bank of America, auditor for Standard Oil, independent accountant in Hollywood. We have accountant Joe Franco getting ready to talk, etc. here pretty soon. So an independent accountant in Hollywood and the manager of Hotel Bel Air, believe it or not. So knowing what his roles were in film, it's kind of hard to think of him as that kind of a numbers guy. It's time to show a picture. That's right. There he is. And of course, we all know him from such films as Once Upon a Time in the West. That was that great Leone film, and the only great film with Once Upon a Time in its title. So Tarantino, I'm sorry, and Rodriguez, I'm sorry to say that, but that's the way I feel about it. Now, the director, John Landers, was actually a stuntman in that film. Oh, don't we have John Landers' autograph? Well, we didn't bring it. Anyway, just as a quick reminder, there you go. Anyway, also Once a Time in America was another great film by Leone. Anyway, he was in Kansas City Confidential, Kiss Me Deadly. Kiss Me Deadly. I think I've shown this before. I think, and you know what? We found another one we didn't even know we had. I better speed up a bit here. But, Kiss Me Deadly, back to Tarantino, and the real meaning of that glowing briefcase in Pulp Fiction was itself Pulp Fiction. And to understand that, you would have to be watching or see Kiss Me Deadly, which I highly recommend you do, because in that was a briefcase that did glow, and there's no better Pulp Fiction than something like Kiss Me Deadly with Ralph Meeker, and what was the detective's name in there? Well, we'll look it up. Mike Hammer, that's it. So Jack was also in the Aurora encounter, about the Aurora UFO encounter that happened in the 1890s, and I've not even heard of that film, being a UFO guy like I am. I'll have to get NASA Nelly to get involved and give us an update on that, but he was also in such films as Pitfall and tons and tons of television, including Gunsmoke, Sugarfoot, I remember these, and Have Gun Will Travel, which reminds me of our guest today who will be joining us, Joe Franco, who is the accounting paladin, but we'll get more into that later. Rifleman, Bonanza, and The Twilight Zone. And will the real Martian please stand up? That was the most famous line in the episode, and it was said by Jack. And it was also the name of that episode. So, and you remember, what's his name from Wild Wild West? His name escapes me, like so many things do. This guy was the guy from Venus. That's right. And the other guy was from Mars, I guess. It's also Robert Louis Stevenson's birthday, who popped in 1850 and popped out in 1894. No, he didn't live all that long, but he was pretty sick most of his life. Scottish novelist, poet, and travel writer, which I didn't know. Most noted for writing things like Treasure Island, Kidnapped, and The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And there's one of them. Now, I liked this one the best. I know Spencer Tracy was in one just a few years later, but I do like the Frederick March one. Also, they made a musical that we saw on Broadway. Well, of course, 42nd, one of those streets there. And here's the music to it. I still see it pop up every now and then, so that was a good thing. But he was born to a lighthouse engineer and was quite ill, like we alluded to for a bit there. And he was pretty weak growing up, and that weakness continued during adulthood, unfortunately. He became more bohemian as he grew up, frequenting cheap pubs, now you're talking, while pursuing a literary life. And that life he called a life of letters, making his parents very upset. So, just one more reminder, you are listening to the Educated Retirement Radio on 1490 KMET, the Mighty Met, www.drheckham.com, or 866-955-2233, 866-955-2233. And tomorrow is Dick Powell's birthday, 1904 to 1963. His life was also cut a bit short, and we will talk about that in a minute. He was an actor, singer, producer, and even a film director. He grew up in northern Arkansas, singing in church choirs. From that, he started his own band that was noticed by Warner Brothers, who was impressed and offered him a film contract. He was first... he was cast as a boy crooner, and his first big shot to stardom was 42nd Street, followed by several gold digger movies, also Footlight Parade. So that would be, obviously, I don't know why I say obviously, but yeah, I've seen it, I don't know, more or less 50 times or more. Here's a Bugsby Berkeley box, and it's got all those, I don't know, and the pictures. It's got for that, but we got that, and we got two more that he was, that Dick Powell was in. So he was a singer, but there was a big career change that occurred when, and I think this is lucky for us, he was cast in a lot of film noirs, but this one, such as Philip Marlowe in Murder My Sweet. We got two. Oh, okay. Video disc, which of course I like because they're bigger pictures, and here's just a radio version that he also starred on. I got a bunch of these records on radio, also put them on tape, so I don't have to. Anyway, he was actually the first actor to star in a film as Raymond Chandler, as that character, as the no, Jay, I keep getting them mixed up, as the Raymond Chandler character of Philip Marlowe. Dick Powell was the first. The original name of the novel was Farewell, My Lovely, but it was changed to not confuse people who knew Dick Powell already. And, they associate him with singing and dancing, and they wanted this to be done, this to be different. Later, the movie was definitely well done with its original name by the Calypso singing, and I've shown you this before. There he is, Calypso singing Robert Mitchum. Yeah, but Powell continued to play Philip Marlowe and Richard Diamond on the radio with other such movies as Bad and the Beautiful. Yeah, which was a great film and I've seen so many times. Great music too and I think we mentioned Pitfall earlier, but there we go. He was the director for the John Wayne film by the name of The Conqueror. Unfortunately, this was filmed in St. George area of Utah, just north of the Nevada border. I think that would be kind of close to Zion National Park, etc. Beautiful area. And this area got a lot of the nuclear fallout that resulted in many of the deaths of people who worked on the film and so many more who simply tried to have a life there. It got to be known, St. George, that is, as Fallout City, unfortunately. But Dick Powell lost his life to cancer that was thought to be caused by that time, along with John Wayne, Susan Hayward, Agnes Moorehead, and more. And incidentally, Powell's home was later used as the exterior of the home featured in Heart to Heart. And the star of Heart to Heart, what's his name?
Robert Wagner.
Robert Wagner was also a good friend of his. And I got some reverse mortgage stuff I want to talk about, but I don't think I can because time is going and you'll still be here next week. So I'm going to give it over now to NASA Nellie because there's a few things that happened in this time. And before NASA Nellie, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and talk about that. This was the day that Fantasia was released in 1940. It was the third animated film and the first to use stereophonic sound. And they wanted to spray out smells, which I don't think they could pull off. And that, of course, predated William Castle and John Waters with his smell-o-vision cards. Speaking of John Waters, there he is. And the poor what's-his-name who passed away. And Fan, of course, is right there. And just to let you know what came in that big laser disc box. Here's a great limited edition picture, which I love Mickey Mouse, of course. And what else you got there? And there was this book too. And I mean, just to show you, I just open anywhere here. I mean, this book has got so much really neat stuff in it and pictures in it that, but I'm sure we all know Fantasia. I didn't know that. I kind of remember it was the first stereophonic film, but I didn't know anything about this smell-o-vision thing until it was brought to my attention here lately. But you know what? NASA Nellie has just now landed on Earth, and she's got, yes, of course, she uses the latest in transportation. And let me, you know what, see, instead of clicking on this Yeti, just turn it towards her is better. Let her take over, and it'll be less than 2 minutes, and then we'll be taking our break.
On November 17th, 1986, en route from Paris to Tokyo, Japan, a Japanese aircraft, Flight 1628, with a cargo of wine, flew over eastern Alaska and witnessed two glowing rectangular objects out the window. All of a sudden, the aircraft's cabin was lit up and the pilots felt the heat. Two more identical objects joined the group, matching the speed of the airplane, assuming a side-by-side configuration. The pilot, Captain Terauchi, with over 10,000 hours of flight experience, said, "The thing was flying as if there was no gravity. It sped up, then stopped. Then it flew at our speed in our direction, instantly changing courses as if it has completely overcome any gravitational pull." At once, a much larger ship, twice as large as an aircraft carrier, appeared. The entire incident lasted about 50 minutes. The complete conversations between the pilot and the airport is available on record. Captain Terauchi reported that this was an UFO of extraterrestrial nature. The airlines grounded him for talking to the press and moved him to a desk job. He was reinstated many years later, and then he retired eventually. A couple of months later, on January 29th, an Alaskan Airlines Flight 53 observed a fast-moving object flying from Nome to Anchorage. This object was visible on radar and estimated to have speed close to 4,000 miles an hour. The pilots were not able to distinguish lights or shapes visually when it suddenly disappeared on radar. The very next day, an Air Force jet, KC-135, flying from Anchorage to Fairbanks, observed a very large disc-shaped object of just about 40 feet from their craft when it too suddenly disappeared. All of those Alaskan sightings, as well as many events regarding airplanes dodging UFOs, have played center stage on the Unexplained Files broadcast on the Science Channel, as well as publications worldwide.
That's okay. We got a little bit more on that about the CIA telling the FAA that this never happened and that they were never there. But in any case, it's time to take a break and sign off for a couple of minutes. And we're going to bring Joe Franco on as guest in just a few minutes. And Sean, please take it away. And everybody else, please hang on. Thanks so much. Welcome back to Friday the 13th here on the Educated Retirement Radio, where we hope you stay educated, but, have some fun too, right? So remember, anybody with anything related to accountancy, anything, call us and talk to our guest, Joe Franco. Which we will let him give an introduction. He is a repeat offender. He's been here before. But you can always call in with a question, 951-922-3532. That is, as Sean would say it, 951-922-3532. So, Joe and I met several years ago at a, what we call a... one of those groups, networking group. There you go. I'm old, so, we are so much alike. Look at those two beards, will you? There's, it's like black and white right there between our two beards. But anyway, we've stayed friends, stayed in contact ever since that networking group went away. And I'd like to, I could talk about Joe, what he does, but let's let Joe first. Are we calling you on the show Joseph or Joe?
Joe's fine. I'm informal.
Okay. So, anyway, go ahead and tell us about what you do, a little about yourself, that kind of thing. And then we'll get into how to get a hold of you, how people can use your services. But, we need to know what your services are first.
Yeah, gotta give the elevator pitch. So first of all, thanks for having me.
Give it. And this can be a very tall building, so your elevator doesn't have to be short.
Nice slow elevator. Okay, nice long ride up. Well, first of all, thanks for having me, Jay.
Our pleasure.
Show again. It's always fun, informative, educational. So my name's Joe Franco. I'm the president of the OCI group. We're located just north of you guys in West Los Angeles. Just up the freeway. So what we do is basically business accounting, all business accounting. We do accounting systems implementation, anything from QuickBooks Online to QuickBooks Enterprise for manufacturers, distributors. We help people graduate from QuickBooks and go up to SAP, Microsoft Dynamics, and of course, tax, corporate tax, LLC, S Corp, C Corps, LLC partnership taxes. So everything business accounting we do. So my background is I'm a CPA, and I also got my MBA at USC. So a lot of experience with audit, tax, businesses.
And this is not to be confused with tax service for individuals. This is for businesses, but it can be a small business. It can be a business of one, really, as long as it's business oriented.
Oh yeah, we work with sole proprietors. That's right. We work with sole proprietors. We do a lot of scheduling.
Yeah, because those like businesses with one employee, the person themselves, they don't have time to do all this.
No.
And even medium-sized businesses. I know when I grew my business, I went from one person to five, like almost overnight. And it was, I should have gone to the five a lot quicker. But I didn't know about people like yourself, which could have gotten us going much, much easier and quicker. So I think we know pretty much everything you do, and that's everything having to do with the accounting side, which is, gets into taxes, gets into a whole lot of legalities that people need someone like yourself to be doing for them, so they don't get in any kind of trouble.
Exactly.
Yeah, now trouble, that's me, but that's a different story altogether. And so first, before we go into some other questions and answers and things, tell us how people can get a hold of you. Even just for questions, right? Just
sure. Yeah, absolutely. Everybody
you're not an attorney. You're not going to charge for phone time, right?
No. Everybody calls me, gets a free consultation, of course. You can go to our website. That's www.theocigroup.com, THEOCIGROUP.com, or you can call us 424-256-6458.
Yeah, and that's showing up on video right now also. But there's a lot of people listening, and then some people in their cars and things like that.
Yeah.
So how long?
They can call just after the show, because I'm obviously not taking calls during the show.
Well, of course, sometimes it's nice to take a call during the show. Then people can learn from it. They can.
Of course. Oh no, they can call you. No, they can call you.
No, they can call you too. What the heck? I mean, but if you do call, and have any questions that are more for Joe or or want to get a hold of him, please call me. And that number is everywhere too, as we've shown. But you've been doing this. I know we met each other several years ago. So you've been doing this quite a while, right?
Oh yeah. Time's flown by. I've been a CPA for almost over 15 years now, and I've had my own firm for over 10 years now. Wow,
that beard is still black. You haven't put yourself or your clients into gray hair mode, have you?
No. We stay pretty easygoing.
Yeah, and you save them from a lot of grief, I'm sure.
Exactly. We all sleep well at night.
And a lot of time. So now I would think that probably before this COVID disaster, which I want to call it what it is, it's been a strange year. Perhaps your kind of services, I would imagine, would be even more in demand than they were. I don't know if that's true or not. And then also how you go about it may have changed quite a bit too. Although I would imagine you could do this remotely all along, right from the beginning, but now probably a little bit more.
So what we do has not changed at all. We didn't even hit a bump going into this. We've always told our clients, you have to be nimble. You have to have a decentralized accounting system. You have to be able, you have to be in a position where your employees can do data entry, whether it's like the accounting, the sales, the invoicing, the marketing, everything, even going from email. They need to be able to be remote, because if you're traveling from work, if you have a fire in your building, which basically in a time where everyone has a fire in their building, nobody can go physically to work. You have to have a web-based, secure, decentralized system. And even with people working at home, we're seeing a lot of attempts at like online hacking, breaking into their systems. So I always tell clients, you need to be decentralized, web-based, secure, which makes you more nimble. So that was always our model. Almost all the work we did was remote. I mean, really the only face-to-face work was just the initial meetings. We're like, hey, we want to come in, meet you.
Just the warm hello, let's shake hands. And that is to some degree important, a lot more important in my business than yours. But,
absolutely. Well, those one-on-one initial meetings have just been replaced by Zoom calls. Even in the beginning of this year, before all this, I wasn't that comfortable with these kind of calls, interviews. I just said, hey, I'll come meet you, but now it's commonplace. Every day I'm doing multiple Zoom calls, multiple meetings. So
am I.
Exactly. So the way we do things has not changed at all. But I would say the last time we talked, I kind of felt like to a lot of clients, our services were kind of a luxury. Oh, we'll have a web-based system and everything will be, web-based, whether with Dropbox, electronic, no paper. It just seemed like a tedious thing, a luxury, something only big companies do. Now it's going to be the norm because nothing is going to change after this. Nobody's going back to the office anytime soon, and all the businesses have learned how to be so much more efficient. Maybe
I know.
And if they don't,
they
don't have to anymore. People are going to walk away from leases or walk away from their buildings, their rents. Maybe not walk away from the obligation, but eventually let their leases.
Yeah, right.
They don't want to spend this money. They want to save the money, recycle it into their business. They're going to be able to employ people because so many people are leaving the state. They said, why am I sitting in an apartment or a condo, in Southern California if I can go back to Canada
right.
have a huge house? So people
I saw some articles about how the rental market is loosening up so much in places like San Francisco because you don't have to be within public transportation or BART of where you're going to work. And I don't think we'll ever get back to now the economy could, and in my opinion, will be back strong.
Mm-hmm.
How quickly that'll happen, that's for another show.
Mm-hmm.
But, in the meantime, so what I see is industry saving money on rent and spending it on maybe more employees and equipment. So overall, a good thing.
Absolutely. They're going to, companies are going to save the money on rent, but they're also going to save the money on employees because employees move to these lower cost states. Even if they lower their pay a bit, they're still going to have a much higher standard of living compared to what.
But they can still hire people.
Exactly. They're going to hire more people.
Yeah, so tell me,
they're going to invest in more information technology.
What are we still doing in Southern California? Don't answer that.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I mean, I guess I've planted roots. I got a family, kids in school.
I know.
I have a small house too. I'm in West LA. I got a really small house, but we're happy. We have a house, we have a backyard. We're able
That's
to
the key word is happy. Okay.
Yeah.
Happy. And since I have a reverse mortgage, I don't have a house payment, so I'm happy too.
Yeah, there you go.
So let's drink to happy.
Yeah, cheers.
And,
I bring a drink, but I don't have a beverage.
But on all of these questions and little points that I was bringing up, we were talking about, all of it has to do with advice people should be getting from someone like yourself. There's so much change coming. They need somebody on their board of directors, even if it's a solely owned company. Absolutely. They need a partnership with someone like you.
Oh yeah, I mean, I have clients who just a couple of years ago, were sole proprietors, one employee S corps, and now have 10 or more employees. They've grown.
Yeah.
A lot of our clients have actually grown a lot. They pivoted, they were prepared and they pivoted during the pandemic and they've grown a lot. They've gone the business, from the companies, from their competitors who weren't ready to pivot towards this. So all our clients have started from one person or two person partnerships. Now have multiple employees, large companies, multiple locations, franchises. So yeah, that's what we do. We want to grow with our companies and help them grow.
I think that's such a key word to our times, pivot.
Yeah.
Now that doesn't mean you have to pivot. It means you do have to think about what pivot means. and they have to talk to somebody like yourself, because everything in business, I mean, whether you like to say it or not, everything in business has to do with how much profit, how much income, what the cash flow is for the business, and all of that is personified in you.
Absolutely. Yeah, and to me, the word pivot, it just comes from, we know we've heard the old expression, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting results. If you're doing the same thing over and over and you're not getting the results you want, it's time to pivot.
Right. And you can help business owners decide about things like that. That doesn't mean you're deciding for them, but my God, they need to talk to somebody other than themselves and their own family.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And, again, I'm really not telling them what to do. I'm just helping them gather the data, gather the information efficiently, so that they can actually see the data, like what service lines are we profitable on? What service line or product lines are we not profitable on? And now, the other thing is, it's not just about, putting financials in front of them, it's about being consistent about it and timely, because it doesn't do them much good to take a look now at their 2019 financials or their March 31 financials. Today, you should be looking at your October 31, 2020 financials, saying, oh, this went really well. Let's keep doing this. Let's build this product, or this service line is just bleeding us money. Let's eliminate it. But you can't wait months and months to figure it out. And you have to have integrity in those numbers.
And sometimes people get pretty excited about, like, I love to get into marketing. And I love to, when I have it, spend money on marketing, but that doesn't mean I should be. And, I want to test this, I want to test that, I want to do whatever. And, I could say last year was kind of an example of that, where, all the income that came in from it was the following year. But if you don't have someone like yourself helping to plan that out and be as a sounding board, you're in trouble.
Oh, absolutely. And, and I would take the same approach, because obviously I'm not a marketing expert, but,
you don't have to be.
You're going to try different things. You're going to try, your Facebook ads, your print ads, maybe TV, radio, Google search. But what I would tell my clients to do is hire an expert marketer,
but they need to talk to you about how much to spend on all that.
Exactly. And it's all about the ROI. I mean, if your print ads are bringing you money, spend away. If your print ads are not bringing you any return, any calls, nothing over months, because it can be subjective too. There's not an immediate ROI. But if your Facebook ads are doing great, keep at it. If not, eliminate them. So you just need to know where you're spending and what it's bringing in over time.
Right. And you really need to stay on top of that. And you need experts like yourself. Like, I got into some trouble I had the big company, and we'd have these Mass 90 spreadsheets that were like 8 feet long, taped together. And I was forgetting a certain part. I was forgetting, the bank always lined up with everything else, with the money in the bank always lined up with something else. But somebody was taking money, and it was not possible to see it on those spreadsheets. But it would have been if I had asked, say, our funders to get involved, because there was just a little bit coming off each time. So I was not a financial expert. Yeah, I could read the spreadsheet, so what? But it takes somebody that knows where to look.
Absolutely.
And that's you. Absolutely. So, so now what territories you're in, basically, since you're on the internets, you're not limited to any special geographic area, right?
No, not at all. Most of our clients are in Southern California, Orange County, LA, just because there's so much business here. But we have clients in NorCal, in San Francisco. And I mean, our clients, they do business all over the country too.
Yeah.
We work with companies out of Virginia, out of Utah. We represent actually a couple of foreign companies, like one foreign company.
Wow, I was going to ask you about that. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we have a company that's based in France, so we're kind of like the agent of service, but we represent them here in the U.S. They're a U.S. entity. We have quite a few companies like that. So and anywhere and everywhere, really.
Yeah, so you're not limited anywhere, just like your clients are not limited. They should never be limited, and you keep them from being limited.
Exactly.
You
exactly.
Yeah.
If you have the right systems in place, you can do business everywhere. You can manage employees everywhere. So yeah, and that's going to become a reality for a lot of companies. They're trying to maneuver. Okay, I had one employee move back to Wisconsin. What do I do now? So yeah, or one employee moved to North Carolina. So people are going to be moving. It's going to be changing times the next year or two.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to impact business as much as people might think.
Yeah.
And even like I was saying earlier, it might help business.
It will help them. Will help them a lot.
And whatever helps business will help the economy in general.
Absolutely.
What helps you actually helps me. So, that's the way I see it in reverse mortgage. I don't feel like I have competition. I'm ready to talk to anybody and share everything, because the more education there is, the better it is for everyone, period.
Another thing I'm sure a lot of listeners have on their minds, these are the questions I'll be getting more, especially last month. I would say before the election, the answers were all about how is like accounting, systems, all that's going to change, financial department structure. But now obviously the conversation's been around the election and how taxes are going to change. So I don't see, obviously what's going to be really big is the Georgia election, if Democrats are going to get hold of the Senate or not. Likely they will not. Likely Republicans will retain the Senate. So likely not a lot will change. And that seems to be what the markets, Wall Street, and businesses are banking on. They don't like change. They like consistency. So obviously nothing's changing for 2020. Nothing will change, even if Democrats win the Senate. Nothing will change in 2021 because for them to make a change, they deliberate, they go back and forth.
Yeah, I don't think anything's going to be huge.
At the earliest, that would have to roll into 2022.
Yeah, and I know we're not supposed to be talking about politics here, and we won't.
It's not a it's not a political discussion.
As much as I may be one side and you might be the other, who knows? It seems more, quote, American if the president is in one party and the Senate is on the other, the House kind of whatever. If everybody is the same, it's like
one part rule.
Yeah, it's one-mindedness more, and I think we're better in the long run with a lot of different minds and different viewpoints.
Oh, absolutely. That's what I was getting to. Like business, industry, Wall Street, they want gridlock. They don't want changes. They want the gridlock. But historically, a gridlock government has actually delivered a better stock market performance and a better economic performance. So, it's not run away one way or the other. But at the earliest, I don't think anybody has to rush. You don't need to rush to sell an asset or this or that, because nothing's changing in 2021. Capital gains, taxes, nothing in 2021. At the earliest, it could change in 22. So my message to people worried about taxes, the election, is wait until the Georgia election first.
Yeah, I don't think we've got that much to worry about taxes.
Wait until the end of 2020.
Yeah, the what they call the Trump tax cuts. Remember, we had really good economy before those tax cuts.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we're not going to roll all of that back. There's no way that's going to happen. So we're fine.
Exactly. Honestly, my guess would be they wouldn't raise taxes during any kind of recovery. They would just let those tax cuts expire in 2025. And by then, hopefully, we'll be well recovered that nobody will even care or feel.
Right. But before we get right up to the end of it's going fast, that, and all your information is showing up on screen, your phone number and everything. But while it's showing up for those people on the radio, go ahead and tell everybody how they can get a hold of you. And why should you get a hold of Joe? Because he's got so much experience in the financial aspect of your future. That's why. So go ahead and give out that information again.
Sure, and thank you again, Joe. It was a pleasure. Joe Franco, you can visit our website, theocigroup.com, theocigroup.com, or call us 424-256-6458. And we're located just up the freeway from you in West Los Angeles.
But you're available throughout the world. I was going to say the country, but I guess the world.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Do Zoom calls all over the country, all over the world.
Yeah, but you're not priced out of this world, right?
No, not at all.
So I want to make sure everybody knows that. And what I miss is the lunches and dinners we would have exploring different places. We were always getting together every couple of months at the most with somebody else from that group, and then another one of Joe's friends, and it was becoming a real normal kind of thing, something I really looked forward to. Just the way if you're a business owner, you will look forward to communicating with Joe and his company. But, I missed that part of life. But what can I say? I guess if I was going to be sick, I picked a good year, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's good year to, stay home and recover.
Yeah. I don't want to say I'm getting used to it. I don't want anybody to get used to it. I still get out, by the way,
Good.
I will wear my mask wherever. I will meet people for eating outside. So I think we need to keep up those safe things. I mean, I'm not going to go into a bar or into a theater or things like that, especially at my ripe old age.
Absolutely.
And condition. But, that still doesn't mean you don't, get a hold of other people, communicate with other people and all that good stuff.
Oh,
so
likewise.
How is your family doing?
Great. Kids are great. Got a 7-year-old girl. She's still distance learning, but's got a great attitude.
7?
Oh, yeah. And our boy, he's 3, so he's doing well. So everybody's happy.
All right. So I know that we do have a couple of minutes left, and I just so what do you think? We've pretty much talked about the economy. I think we both really put in that we feel things are going to be good. We don't know for sure when they're going to be good. I just know they are going to be good. And I do know that to get from here to there, everybody who is going to survive needs to do so with as much knowledge as possible.
Absolutely.
And that would mean having someone like Joe, or if you're a more formal type person, Mr. Joseph Franco, on I call it board of directors, because I feel, I talk about a household having a board of directors of different people, from realtors to different kinds of loan people, et cetera, et cetera. I think that someone like yourself, and of course yourself probably first and foremost, should be a regular part of business owners' lives. And if you think you know it all yourself, fine, good for you. But you also are smart enough. That means you're smart enough to know that somebody else has a different opinion. And for that different opinion, you need to call Joe.
Yeah, because you don't know what you don't know, so you got to hire the best person that knows the job.
And that's you, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, I hope so.
I think it's you, yeah. I'm pretty sure of that.
And if it's reverse mortgages, it's you.
Well, thank you so much. But, I do think that if it's a reverse mortgage, you just need to learn as much as you can, okay? And if it's not me, so be it. The more people that learn, the better. And that should be the attitude with what you're putting together also. The more people that you can get information from, and you're just open to talk to people about information, those very well could be your future clients, and maybe not.
Oh, yeah.
But you're there to...
every time I talk to somebody, I learn something. When I talk to my clients, I'm learning as much from them as they're learning.
Right, right.
I know quite a bit more than I did 10 years ago, and I'm learning something every day. So, you never stop learning.
That's for sure. And, if you're unsure, give Joe a call. Then you can be sure. And then both of you can learn, right?
Exactly.
And I just don't know how to say how important it is to have someone like yourself. If you have somebody else, if you're happy with it, that's one thing. But, you can always call Joe with any kind of a question regarding, you can call him anyway. Call him about a restaurant near where he lives. It doesn't matter. He'll take your call.
Recommendation. a lot of open air restaurants here, so you can
Yeah.
go out and you're still safe.
You know, we're going to have to figure on that, okay? Let's do
Absolutely.
that. I need to get out
Okay.
and around. And, you know, I've got some, well, we'll talk about what's going to happen to me next month. But whatever's going to happen to me medically, I'm not going to miss any shows. So there. So we do have only a minute left. So part of that minute, Joe, is to thank you so much for being a part of this.
You're welcome, and thank you for having me.
Go ahead and give your contact information one more time, and then I'll say good afternoon to everyone.
Okay, visit our website, theocigroup.com, or call us 424-256-6458.
And do it. And we were talking about pickles, National Pickle Day. And what do you call a frozen pickle hanging from a roof? Do you know, Sean?
No.
It's an ice pickle.
Oh, I was thinking word icicle. How can you involve ice?
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So remember, Kaplan will be here on the same corner in front of the cigar store next week. Thank you so much, Joe, Sean, for being the best engineer in the world. And all of the listeners, have a great, wonderful, and safe Friday the 13th and weekend. Bye-bye.